Hello, ninth grade parents, and welcome. My name is Julia Harmon Kane. I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing here at Burke. I'm going into my sixth year, along with Jadea Asante, who's our Assistant Director of Communications, who also manages the yearbook and works with Sheriel's office. I also advise the Cage Liner and co-advise our Jewish Affinity group, and I'll be teaching sixth grade in the spring, so you'll see us both around and about wearing many different hats. So I'm just going to review the different ways you can get information from us. Most of this will be familiar to you if you were with us in the middle school, but it's a good quick refresher. So way number one is email. We do two primary forms of email communication during the regular course of the year. So the first one is the Burke Beat that comes out every other Thursday. This year it's going to start not this week, but the following week. And that comes out every other Thursday, 2 p.m. It's news, it's videos, it's photos. We try and keep it really fun and offer you a little bit of a window into what is going on at school. And then next, we have This Week at Burke. This comes out every Sunday at 4, and this will give you an overview of the week. It's not everything, but it's the major events. So if you have a student who plays on a sports team, for example, you will need to check their sports schedule individually. The one thing we occasionally will put in here are home games that are very easy for everybody to get to so that we can build up a little bit of a crowd. We also put just for your information in here that typically, again, applies to large groups, as well as some to-do list items. And we also include in the fall our college and university rep visits. Those are managed through the college counseling office, and they're primarily for seniors and juniors, but we like to give our freshmen and sophomores just an idea of who's in the building and who they can maybe expect to see in the coming years. And then we, of course, have standalone emails. These are much more common at the beginning of the year. We have a lot of information to communicate, and sometimes things deserve their own email. But as the year goes on, these do wane a little bit. So I apologize for the torrent of email. It will calm down later, I promise. All right, and then this is a new resource we have this year. If you're just on the regular Burke homepage, you go up here, you hover over Parents, and you can click Family Resources. It will take you to this page. We created this just to be a quick reference for the dozen or so items that parents need a lot that we didn't want to park behind the password within SIS. SIS is also not great on the phone. There isn't an app for it yet, although I imagine one day it will come. So we've parked things here that we want you to be able to get to quickly. We do recommend creating a little icon on your phone's home screen that gets you to this page so you can get there really fast if you ever need to. At the top, we just park recent important communications as well as some contact information. On the right, you'll see resources that you really need to log into SIS in order to get to. And then further down, these are some of the big areas you may need. For example, the bus schedule if you take the bus. The major dates for the year you can get here. If you order lunch, you can do that here. If your student loses their ID, they can reorder it here. We also have for here the trip information for our bonding trips. Ninth grade does do an overnight, and so all the information about that is in here, as Ryan Hazer will talk more about. So I encourage you to just make sure you can access this page easily. And then at the bottom, we've parked all of our upcoming family events. There are quite a few of those, and you can RSVP to all of them using this form, which many of you did to RSVP for tonight. So we're just trying to consolidate and keep it in one easy place for you. The other thing you can link to here is our attendance form, and you need a password for this, but it's the same password for everybody. It's usually pretty easy to remember, and we only change it maybe once a year if the students start getting their hands on it. So you can do this from the website. It's just very important that you fill this out, even if your student's advisor or their teachers knows they're going to be absent. This is how we make sure that our records are correct. All right, and then when you log into SIS, you're going to click this login button up here, and it will take you to this news page that looks like this. Anything on this page we've sent you in some other form. I've just put it here so that it's easy as possible to access. The couple things I'm going to highlight for you are first in the directories. Every year we get asked about carpooling, meeting up with families who live in your neighborhood. And the best way to do that is to click this little map icon, do some zooming in. And you'll be able to see everyone who lives in your immediate neighborhood. And if you hover over it, you can get more detailed contact information. It's a great way to set up carpools, to just meet people who are nearby. Another thing that I would recommend checking out is the calendar. The calendar will look really, really busy if you log into it because all your students' assignments default to showing up, but you can turn them off over here on the left-hand side if you want a more simplified view to help you plan your life. The other thing you can do is if you click this little RSS button up here, it will let you pick calendars to feed directly to your Google Calendar. I do this. It is wonderful. It is great for helping you organize your life. And if you need help figuring out how to do that, just let me know. The other thing you can do is click this little print icon, and the calendar actually prints really nicely, and you have a lot of options for how it looks. So I would recommend doing that as well if you like the paper version. We've also sent you a major dates calendar via regular old mail. So if you didn't get that for any reason, feel free to stop by or send your student to stop by my office and I'll give you one. And last but not least, if you click on this little resource board right here, that's where we put information and resources that we need to have behind a password of some kind, typically things like the handbook, some of our contact information. That all lives under this little SIS resources section. The final way you can expect to be in touch with us is occasionally through text message. We have a system that talks to SIS. It's called Bright Arrow. We'll test it at the beginning of the year, make sure it's working. Then you can forget about it until we have a snow day. We have any kind of emergency road closure situation, or if there's a major event coming up, occasionally we will use text around that as well, but it's not very frequent. We just ask that you really make sure that your cell phone and your student's cell phone, if they have one, is updated in SIS because the way we get information to our texting system about things like snow days is through your SIS profile. Same thing with emails that you get. Those are all drawing from your SIS profile as well. It's just one single database, and the database recognizes you as a ninth grade parent and pulls you into that email list. So you just want to double check, make sure that information is correct, and if you have any trouble updating it, just let me know. Thank you again for coming. Have a great rest of the evening. As many folks know, I have federal jury duty this week, so I've been in and out a little bit. But again, just send me an email if you need anything regarding what came up tonight, and have a great